I mean, who would have knew that there were certain people in certain positions in life here in the United States that don't want freedom. They don't care about freedom. They want to hurt you. They want to take away from you. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. People don't understand what comes with freedom. What comes with freedom is the responsibility to take care of yourself and your family. So, what does that require? That you work. Living in the United States is a privilege, it's not a right. When you live here, you're granted the very rare opportunity to work as hard as you want, to work as smart as you want, to be able to build yourself up, and sky's the limit. That's not something that's very common around the world. We're in a capitalist society, which means that your own fate rests upon you. But there are those of us in this society that prey on those who wish to better themselves and take care of their family and build themselves up. There are those who live outside the system, who feel entitled to everything being free in the system. They, whether they're in jail or on the outside in projects, they feel entitled to live in a communist utopia where their food and housing is covered for free, and you owe them because of how they were born. They were born black. They were born to parents who weren't married. They're, whatever excuse they want to give, the point is they don't believe in working. They believe in taking. They will take from you. They will take your life. And prison is no longer a penalty. Jails are fun now. They have privileges. They have tablets. They have electronics. It's not like it used to be in the movie The Shawshank Redemption. And now that the homosexuality agenda has been pushed so hard and so heavy for the past 20 years, it's really just a big 24/7 orgy. I wouldn't really call that a punishment if the perpetrators have a secret gay lifestyle. So what's the cure? People say that my suggestions are too harsh when I say we can remove citizenship and repatriate people to other countries in Africa or other places far, far away from our borders. And since the United States is a country that you typically have to fly into unless you sneak across our northern or southern border, we can monitor and restrict access from those who have been repatriated from ever returning. The communist mentality is one that must die out inside of the person. You can't vote your way out of it. You can't talk the person down from being a communist. To be a communist requires jealousy and envy of whichever group you are going to pretend is your excuse for why you are doing nothing. That's what happened in Cuba. They convinced the dark-skinned Cubans that the white-skinned Cubans were their problem. And we have been entrenched in communism for 60 plus years. Right now, we are starving out the country because we are going to kill off that mentality. There's nothing else. There's no other cure for it. There are people who just do not want to work and do not want to contribute. And they are a threat to the rest of us in society. You know, it's crazy. I have these conversations in person. I have them on the internet, and I talk to people like yourself, and people that say to me, you know what, white people will like your content because they'll like what you're saying. My question is, why don't you? Don't you have an interest in safety? Aren't you tired of crime? The answer is, for a lot of them, no. They enjoy crime. They enjoy danger. They want to steal from you. They hate you. They live in the United States. They speak English. They have citizenship, but they're not Americans. They are not here to build. They're not here to take care of their families. They are not here to work. They are here to steal, and they want to enable others to do the same. They want to see this place burn, even if they're in it. That's what comes with the jealous. That's the jealousy and envy part. which is why we cannot coexist with certain people. The judge here in Texas is doing the exact perfect thing that should be done everywhere. I don't know if you guys ever met anybody that's ever pulled a gun and robbed someone in person, but that's not something you can come back from. You can't come back from believing you can literally use weapons and use fear to physically take something from another American or another person in general and think that that person can just, I don't know, fall into society, get a job, eventually get married, have kids. These people have no future. Stealing and robbing people and eventually killing people is their career ultimately until they get caught. Every day that these people are allowed to stay in society is a different day that you're rolling the dice, where it might be you or one of your children that could be their next victim. So I 100% agree with this judge. You have to throw the book. You have to hang them. They have to hang up this lifestyle. This cannot be allowed. Letting this person out so that they can reoffend in X amount of years, what's the purpose? All they're going to use is the excuses of, well, I was in jail, so I can't get a job. But you were committing these crimes before you were even a felon. You were doing it when you had the opportunity to go work. Every single day that we allow and accept excuses from criminals, every single day that we allow and make excuses for criminals is another day that we're putting ourselves and society at large at risk. Risks that are unnecessary, that we don't need to take. So I agree with this judge. Let's listen to her sentence, and you guys let me know what you think.
Mr. Fontenette, there was a time some years ago that there really wasn't even a question. Everyone, state's attorneys were recommending youthful offenders, probation. Let's give everybody an opportunity. And things have just changed in such an incredibly dangerous way with young people doing what I just saw you do on that screen. I cannot imagine the fear that person had that was working in that store, that he now has just trying to go to work, make a living, and go home. And he has 3 people come in and not just grab a little quick something and run out, but terrorize him for quite some time.
You got to think about it. These are communists. They don't care. They use terrorism. They use fear to get their political way. Now, these are obviously BLM supporters. These are Kamala Harris lovers. These aren't Trump supporters. These aren't MAGA. These are your everyday Democrats, Black Democrats. They love crime. They need crime. They're the Democrats around them, the activist judges in these courts, they keep putting them back on the streets everywhere else in the country except for Texas so that they can keep committing crimes, because this is how these Democrats stay in power. It's a whole catch and release system. The only thing these Democrats hope for is that when these people reoffend, is that they reoffend against somebody who's a straight white conservative. That's their goal. If they're killing their own people, the Democrats aren't too fond of it. But if the victim is white, they celebrate. That's a problem. And the fact that a lot of people don't realize that that's what's happening, that's the state of affairs that we're in here in the United States, is even a bigger problem. Because how do you fix an issue that you are too chicken shit to admit that you have? People keep saying we have a race problem in the United States. We don't. But we do have a problem race. And any solutions about how to deal with this one particular said group are always countered with racism, oppression, Jim Crow slavery, i.e. excuses. We're done with them. We're in 2026, the age of our Lord. How many more years do you want us to deal with this?
Pulling him around, yanking him around, putting guns in his face, all 3 of you. I also, in addition to the PSI, get jail incident reports. And you apparently like to fight and jump people, which is what's been happening in the jail. So it makes it very difficult for me to go, oh, this is somebody that's going to get out and behave, who can follow the rules, because you can't even follow the rules in jail. And the pre-sentence report shows that you're a high risk level, which tells me that after they've looked at everything, that you don't have, unfortunately, a good likelihood of being successful if I were to put you on probation. And Mr. Coleman's right. We're tired of it. And there's got to be something done. So in cause number...
I mean, listen, don't cry for him. Don't feel bad for him. He and his people would not cry or feel bad for you. The biggest part of this video is they're saying at the end of it, his family is shocked. His family's shocked. My question is, what fucking family? What family? How do you claim to be the family member of someone, and this is what they are out doing as a child? He's not a grown man in his 20s or 30s. He's barely 18 years old. And this, and where were you? Where the fuck were you? Where's the mother? Where's the father? See, I'm not like everyone else. I believe parents should be held accountable for negligence when their children are out here committing these crimes. Parents must be brought in, must be held accountable. Of course, you can't charge the son for the sins of the father, but you must charge the father for the sins of the son and the mother, because ultimately this kid is in your care. That is the agreement you make with society. That's your child. You didn't give them up for adoption. You were likely on welfare. You were likely on Section 8. You were likely receiving assistance from the government. The least you can fucking do with access to our free education, those free lunches, in exchange for all the gifts we've given you as Americans, the least you can do is train and teach your child to become a productive member of society. But if you neglect them, send them off into the world to commit crimes against others, you are also to blame. You should be held accountable. You are the parent. You're ultimately the guardian. Well, he's 18. Okay, I'm sure this isn't his first time at the rodeo. Again, there is no purpose of releasing him at 3 years when he's 21. This is his personality type. He wants to steal and take and murder. That is appealing to him. He's watched movies. He's watched people. It's a part of their culture. It's in the music. It's embedded in them from birth. An inferiority complex against white people. So they blame anyone who's not black for all of their problems. Everyone they've ever met in their life has been killed by another black person, but they have an unreasonable and delusional fear of anyone who's white, MAGA, Trump, etc. That is not something that you can train out of someone. It dies in the host. It doesn't go anywhere. Releasing him in 10 years wouldn't have made a difference. Maybe in his 40s or 50s, he will decide that he's too old to commit certain types of crimes. But see, the pain is in the punishment sometimes. You got to survive prison in some of these places. Yes, jail is it's like going to Disneyland for men. If you're in California, or they got rid of all the pink stuff in Arizona, and there are some states like Florida or Texas where jail isn't fun anymore. So in this situation, he might not be in a hurry to go back. But in other states where people reoffend at what, an 80-90% rate, you got to ask yourself why. It's because we're not failing criminals. We're failing society when we allow criminals to leave, reintegrate, and then fucking offend. I've met a lot of people in my life that have been murdered and killed in robberies. None of them were ever murdered or killed by a first-time offender. It was always someone that a piece of shit loser activist judge with colored hair or that's fucking gay would allow this person back onto the streets. because they have a political agenda, because they want to virtue signal. If they're in a liberal jurisdiction, they think that all laws are racist and there shouldn't be any laws. There shouldn't be any prisons. And everyone should just be a victim. That's what when I say we cannot coexist with people who don't believe in law and order, that's what I mean. Because the people who don't believe in law and order, these activist judges I'm talking about, the people with the colored hair, remember, they live a different lifestyle than you and I. They're gay most of the time. They don't have kids. They don't. So they're not invested in the future, but also they don't have anyone who's small that you must protect or you must defend or to worry about. So they don't have anything to care about when it comes to putting these people back on the streets. They don't have any kids to protect. They don't care about kids. They like kids a lot of times. And I don't mean they like kids in a good way. I mean it in the Epstein type way. So that creates a huge problem. Those should not be people who are allowed to be judges. We must discriminate based on certain characteristics because we have 50 plus years, 60 years of case study since the Civil Rights Act of 1964, where we can see that though it sounds good in practice, there are certain types of lifestyles that you cannot push forward or elevate to those people that live those lifestyles in positions of power, because what will they do? They will break down and destroy society by being, what do you call it, lenient on criminals and crime. They don't care because they don't live the same lifestyle as the majority of people in this country. They live an alternative lifestyle. So you know what that means? They want an alternative ending. They don't want to end up like the rest of us, working, taking care of your family, having kids, having grandkids until you retire. They don't want to live like us. So why are they in charge of us? Why are they in positions to mold and change our society? They can't be. Things are going to have to go back to how they used to be. That's what works. Trying to reinvent the wheel doesn't work. Watering grass with Gatorade is not progress. That's not the future. That's a failed way to go. This, what we're seeing right now happen in Texas, it must happen everywhere. But I don't want to send people to prison for 25 years. That costs tax money. That costs taxpayers too much money. X amount of years in prison, and then they are repatriated to another country. Now, we've been working out deals with South Sudan and other countries in Africa. There are places where people can be sent where we don't have to take care of them. We don't have to give them 3 hots and a cot. That is a luxury. A prison in the United States is a luxury for than living in some of these other places. We can't take care of them. They don't want to be American. There's no fucking way you can convince me that this 18-year-old man walked into a store with a machine gun to rob the person, but he loves America and he wants to be an American and he's proud to be an American citizen. There's no way you can convince me that that's the case. It's not. So for those of us who don't believe in the United States, don't want to be Americans, hate the American system, and don't want to work and build themselves up and take full advantage of the freedom that was fought for and earned, you got to get the fuck out. Of course, you will pay your debt to society, but once that's over, you will not be allowed back in this pool. We have to be strict on crime. We have way too many people. We're losing too many friends and family members to reoffenders. We can't allow this. You can put someone in the military. Even they can kill someone. And the reintegration society is difficult, but it's possible. But someone who has convinced themselves that using armed robbery, intimidation to go out and steal from others and by force and fear, that's like rape. There is no, oh yeah, that's bad, let me come back. There is no returning from that. That's who that person is. We must accept that. We can't project and say, well, because I'm not like that, they're not like, that's not how this works. We have children to protect. I don't think you guys are understanding. Yes, he was caught. But if he wasn't, he would have killed someone else's kid by now. We don't know his track record. We don't know if he's already been out there as a teenager. These kids are killing kids, and they're all from the same community. Oh, but Rico, in other races, they go around killing. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's a black thing. And for those who follow black culture, Hispanic kids in the hood, they do it at lower rates because they're imitating the black culture that comes with it. Black culture and American culture diametrically opposed to one another. They will never coexist. They'll never meld. There is no integration. It's always been forced. If you gave Americans the choice, they would never live next door to any of these fucking maniacs who are out here with guns, robbing and killing people. The main reason is because the black community values life differently than the American community, meaning the black community doesn't value life at all, whether it's a senior citizen, whether it's a baby, whether it's a fucking a fetus. That's why you think they push abortion. What do we do when you worship life and you promote it, but then you have to live next door to somebody who doesn't give two shits about life and abort it, and they make music and dances about killing and taking life? I don't know how that's reconciled, but the first step is talking about it, which is what I'm doing.
Number 25, DCCR 1759. I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time, I'm going to find you guilty of aggravated robbery. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 25 years in the institutional division.
I want to be the first to say to the family of this man in the background, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. You're selfish, you're evil, you're disgusting, you're the scum of this country. You're the problem with this country, and if no one else will address it and deal with it, I'll do my part. These people are monsters. What Biden said about him and his community was true. It was true in 93. It was true in 94. It was true in 87, 79. Every single time Biden made these declarations, he wasn't lying. Fuck, what's his name? Storman, whatever his name was, that was on the bill that opposed Biden. Biden didn't lie. None of these people are lying on you. You're lying to yourselves. You're lying to the public. And you're putting me and my family at risk. An unnecessary risk, and I don't agree with it. His family, if they were as invested in his future as they are as invested as in his sentence, he wouldn't be in this courtroom. But some of these people were born to be prisoners. They were raised to feed the prison industrial complex. Their families are the reason why they're here, or lack thereof. How do you call that a family anyway? There's no father, there's an absent mother, and there's a kid who has access to guns, weapons, doesn't want to go to school, a complete bum. But look at the parents, look at the mom, bum, father, bum, bums by choice. They have American citizenship, they speak English. There's no fucking excuses. None. And if you try to give me one, you're a fucking clown. I don't want to hear it. It's bull. All of it. All of it. How is it that us immigrants can come here and we're even darker than them, but we don't have the same issues with them based on how dark we are? It's all a lie. It's a cultural thing. It's an entitlement thing. They get together, they huddle together, they convince each other that crime is good, accountability is bad, black and death and abortion and gay shit is good. Anything white, believing in the future, taking care of families is bad. Which one do you want to live around? You pick your side, you stick to it, and we go from there. But if there's a war here in this country, this is how we fight back. Prisons, but eventually removing birthright citizenship so that these people who were lucky for them, but unfortunate for us, that were happen to be born here in the United States with citizenship to speak English, we must be able to remove that citizenship past a certain amount of violent crimes committed. Housing them indefinitely is not fair to the American taxpayer. I don't want my money feeding fucking criminals forever. I don't. Send them to where they'll be happy. Send them around their own people, their own kind. Let them petition the governments in Ghana and Nigeria for reparations and to allow them to just commit crimes freely. But that's not the American way. That's not the American way. We can't give you carte blanche when it comes to crime. That was their agreement with the Democrats. Hey, remove so that we can't be held accountable. We commit as much crime as we want without being charged, and we'll vote for you. We can't allow deals like that to be brokered. Ask stupid ass Gavin Newsom. He told them you can steal up to $1,000 without being arrested. And what the fuck did that do? You know how many businesses have closed? How many people have suffered? We're not making deals with the devil anymore. We're past it. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back on live with another topic in another about 20 minutes. Remember, it's America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.